This video is about the difference between leveling a reticle and aligning a reticle. So you've all seen little spirit levels you can buy on Amazon, eBay. And what you do is you put one of them on top of the receiver and level the gun. And then you put a second one on top of the turret and turret cap maybe and level the scope. What that means is the top of the receiver and the scope are both level. That does not mean that the reticle is aligned with the center of the bore. So if you can imagine the scope being 3 inches to the right of the barrel, they're both level, but it's not in alignment with it, right? So what this tool does, I found at Brownells, is this is a reticle alignment tool. And it's just 2 pieces of aluminum with a V in each one and a spirit level. And you loosen the screw up. This thing slides up and down. And you set this on the top of the scope and the barrel and adjust this to where it's tight and it doesn't wiggle. You just let this slide down until it sits on it, tighten the thumb screw up, and then check it. Can't be any wiggle. So I take a rubber band, because that thing doesn't stay exactly put. I put the rubber band around it and that holds this thing in place where it's supposed to be. And we bring you around here. There's the spirit level on the gun. And we're just going to rotate the gun till it's perfect. Just like that. Alright, now let me change the camera view and look through the scope. Alright, you can see I've got the reticle aligned with a plumb line that's on my far wall. And once I have that set, and the spirit level says I'm level. Alright, now I can go ahead and put a bubble level, lock my scope down and put a bubble level on the scope. Mounts right to it. It is one of these, and it just mounts to the scope. Anyway, I line that level up with that level, and my scope is aligned. My reticle is aligned to the bore, and I'm going to take you over here and show you what the difference is. Alright, you can see in this video right here that we have a reticle and it points straight down, but if we have wacky receiver, scope rings, there's several things that can do this. If our scope is mounted off center of the bore, although this reticle is level and the receiver on the gun is level, you see my scope is off to the side of it, right? So what that means is that my my trajectory is going to be at an angle like this, right? So this would be my scope path, the dotted line, right? That's my line of sight, and this is where my projectile is fixing to go, and this is where I got my gun zeroed. So I can zero it right here and it's going to hit perfect every time, no matter where the scope's mounted, how it's mounted, whether the reticle's level or not. It's going to hit right there. But if I shoot something before there, it's going to be off to one side. If I shoot it after the zero, it's going to be off to the other side. And that's one way you can check to see if you have a problem, if you have a really, really accurate shooting gun, is to do that. What we want is we want both of them to be in a straight line, right? So the way to correct this is simply rotate the scope until that bottom line points right to the center of the barrel, right? Now technically you're holding your gun at an angle, but because the scope is centered over the center of the bore, it's fixing to shoot perfectly straight before and after the zero. All right? These are some really good self-centering mounts, right? Made by BKL Industries. And because of the way they're made, they're kind of unique. they fit the bottom on top of the dovetail of the receiver, and because they clamp from both sides, they're kind of springy. The way they clamp from both sides, they self-center, right? So what this means is this mount is centered perfectly over the top of the dovetail. What if the top of the dovetail isn't machined correct with the barrel? What if it leans one way or the other, right? These are the best I've found for mounts, but they do not correct that problem 100%, right? So aligning the reticle with the bore is the best way to do it for long range and, you know, precision shooting. And I know some of you guys have probably seen a set of these before, right? These are some old mounts that mount to a lot of Crossmen and other guns, and you can put a scope on top of it. Well, there's no place to level this. This can literally fit on the barrel and move from side to side, right? So all you can really do is eyeball this straight up and down on your barrel. It's an inner mount, that's what it's called. Anyway, I can just really eyeball that thing straight, but the way you get the reticle aligned with the barrel is with one of these. You can still do that, and no matter where your scope is, even if you got a scope sitting on 45-degree mounts on here, you can still get it aligned with the barrel with this tool, and it will shoot great for you. This is another one, and this is a different one. I can't remember the gentleman's name that made these, but this is the same thing. They fit really close to the barrel, or the air tube on the bottom, but they don't fit on it. They just clamp to the barrel, so it will still rotate side to side for you, as a lot of inner mounts do. So anyway, hope I didn't make this too complicated, but that is why it is important to align the reticle with the bore, and I've really not found anything better than this. I do have a product that a gentleman has asked me to kind of review, I guess. He sent it to me. There'll be another video on that as soon as I have some rock solid results. And until then.